So what I just played for you right there was a 16th note pattern that incorporated 16th note triplets. Now if you noticed, I played the pattern two different ways, one including single strokes and the second including double strokes. Now I'm going to show you the pattern right now without the triplets included so you get a better understanding of how the pattern normally is. So this is what it would be. Starting with my right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 E and 2 and to 3 E and 4 and to 1 E and 2 and to 3 E and 4. Notice I accent 2 and 4. Now I'm going to play this pattern including the triplets. I'm going to show you it first though with single strokes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 E and 2 and to 3 and 4 and to 1 E and 2 and to 3 and 4. Now if you notice there, with the single strokes, since it's including the triplet, it becomes a 4-note pattern between the 1 and the and. My left hand lands on the and of 1 and the and of 3. Starting with your right hand, playing the 16th note pattern, it's usually going to start on the quarter notes and the ands, and your left hand will be on the e's and the uhs. And if you play it with your left hand, it would be the opposite. But since we included that triplet pattern there, it ends with the left hand being on the end of 1 and the end of 3. But if you notice, when I went back to the quarter note of 2 and the quarter note of 4, I went back to the right-handed standard, the right-handed pattern, starting with my right hand. So just keep that in mind if you're playing it. You know, that's how it's going to be for this particular pattern. Now, if you notice there that when I played that with the triplets, it was 4 consecutive notes between 1 and. So if we look at my hand here, say this is 1 E and. So essentially, how to incorporate the triplet is, let's say this is E right here. We're going to take this note and we're going to split it into 2 notes. We're going to literally kind of move this to the side a little bit over here, and we're going to put another note in between there. So when you're playing this pattern, you're not actually playing on the E. You're actually kind of playing in between E. And the thing is, you're pushing it over so you can add that extra note, and you're creating even space between them. So it should be a consecutive 4 notes being played evenly together. So right now I'm going to play the 1 E and triplet version and the regular 16th note version. Starting with my right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 E and 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 1 E and. Notice the difference. Now, when we're doing this, remember, you want evenly spaced. We don't want 1 E and, we want 1 E and, 1 E and. We're not adding like 2 notes bunched together at E. Remember, we're spacing this evenly out, 4 notes evenly spaced out between 1 and. Now, when it comes to counting this out, since this is a 16th note pattern, usually when we're playing these, they're going to be played at either a mid-tempo or a fast tempo. So it's really going to be very difficult to count this because it's going to be played at a very high speed. So, I mean, usually when you count a triplet, it's triplet, triplet, triplet. But trying to count that out, including the regular 16th note pattern 2, it's too much. You know, it's overload for the brain, and it makes it more confusing than it has to be. So if you notice how I've been counting it, I just go 1 E and, 1 E and, just like a regular 16th note pattern. 1 E and, 1 E and. You know, just be conscious that when you're playing the triplets, your notes exactly where they are. But when it comes to counting it, you can count it like a regular 16th note pattern. You know, that's the easiest way to do it. So right now, I'll play that pattern for you, starting my right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, enter 3 and 4, enter 1 and 2, enter 3 and 4. And remember to accent 2 and 4. And remember to get that whip in there too. Remember that. You want that whip and that accent. Now I'm going to show you how to do it with doubles. Now all there is to the doubles is it's just the bounce. You're bouncing the stick where the triplets are. So 20 in, 20 in, 20 in. Now remember, it's very important that your doubles are even. We want not, that's what we want, evenly spaced. Now I'm going to play you the pattern with the doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4. 20 and 2, enter 3 and 4, enter 1 and 2, enter 3 and 4. Now remember also when you're doing this, remember to do it with your left hand as well. So pretty much the same pattern, just when you're starting with your left hand, just do the exact opposite. That way you'll be able to, both hands will be evenly matched when playing this. Now you're probably wondering, what's the point of learning it both ways? The point of learning this pattern both ways with singles and doubles is that when you're playing this, say in a drum solo or a drum fill, each version is going to have a different feel and a different dynamic to it. You know, the singles are going to sound a little bit different than the doubles, and it creates a variety and dynamics and substance, and adds substance to your playing. For example, say I want to, do a tom fill and I want to accent the triplets. Well, I'm going to do it with the singles because you can get more power out of it, versus doing it with the doubles. Now, where the doubles really come in handy is when you're doing like the pattern on the snare drum, and you're doing this really syncopated pattern. What the doubles would do with the triplets is they kind of add a flow and a feel to the pattern and to the single notes. They kind of assist your single notes and gives it a cool kind of feel to it, You're not going to get that with the singles. And that's the point of learning both ways, because with drums, it's all about, dynamics and feel. And the more variety, the more different ways and textures you can play something, it's going to add a lot more creativity to your playing and make it more exciting. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you found this helpful.